afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. Today, we have scheduled webinar on corporate wisdom series, Campus to Corporate,
Actually,
which
what's
has
happened?
been
No,
organized by Applied Science
the
University
camera
Department
is not allowed
of
in my office laptop.
Parul
It's an
Polytechnic
external thing.
Institute, Parul
So,
University.
unfortunately, I'm attending through phone and doing this. It's a big technical glitch, but you can be seated.
Hello, excuse me, ma'am. Yeah. Okay, done. The main agenda of this webinar is to get knowledge about resume, cover letter readiness, interview skills, strategies to answer interview questions powerfully, and essential aspects to keep in mind before joining the world of work. I, Vaishali Nathwani, would like to introduce today's guest speaker, Vani Gopalan. She is a seasoned IT director in business technology with 2 decades of corporate experience in top-notch organizations like IBM, Invesco, and Flowserve Corporation in driving enterprise advancement through state-of-art technologies. She drives growth, efficiency, and profitability by leading strategic businesses. Vani leverages innovative and collaborative leadership skills to build and direct high performing teams and accomplish strategic objectives. She is a recipient of awards such as Unified Bryans of India Award, the Excellence for Innovation, and Organization Leadership Excellence. Her doctorate in organizational leadership, along with certification in ITIL, APM, and Prostate Change Practitioner, enables her to deliver her duties effortlessly. Her mission is to enable a million graduates successfully transition from campus to corporate and climb the corporate ladder. She is also passionate about bringing the best out of people via constructive coaching, and mentoring is her passion and have impacted 1,000+ lives of executives, women, and students. It's a privilege to welcome you, ma'am, here.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Yes. Just
Yes.
give me one
Thank you
second.
so much, ma'am, for joining with us today.
You're most welcome, and it's my pleasure to be part of the session this afternoon. And I really welcome everyone for participating in this session. So this is going to be a 1 hour session, but it may go a little bit overtime as well with all the information that we want to cover. So I will, do my level best to make sure that it is crisp, and also everyone is able to get a maximum out of whatever I wanted to share. So this is for the students, right? And we believe that you are the leaders of the nation. You are the leaders of the world. So which is why we wanted to make sure that you get the best experience before even, or the learning experience before even you hit the campus journey. So just to before even we start with the agenda of today's session, I would like to tell everyone that this is not a just do it thing, right, moving from college to campus. So this is a transition and this is a journey, and it has to be taken in a step by step approach. So with that, I would like to just quickly go through the presentation and share my screen so that you can also see what is that we are going to cover for today, and that would also set the tone for today's session. Yes, if you could confirm if you're able to see my screen.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am, it is visible.
Awesome. Yeah. So the key highlights for today's session is pretty much going to be how do you enhance your employability and making you industry ready when you join a company from college, and understanding the top 10 corporate buzzwords and abbreviations which would really help you to take the next step in terms of your career, where you don't feel like you're let out and you're a student and how do I make the transition. So these words, when you get familiarize yourself with these words, this would really help you to be there as part of the other people in the crowd. And the next and the most important thing is the essential aspects to keep in mind before joining the world of work. So that is what we're going to cover in next 45 minutes to 1 hour, and we're going to open it up for question and answers, and I'm more than happy to take up your questions. Right, like I said in the beginning, this is a transition and this is a transformation that one has to go through when you're completing your college life and getting into corporate. So the college life is so different than what it is in the corporate life, right? So college life is like you study, and then you have certain discipline, certain value system in the college, which is something which is uncompromisable, right, when it comes to the college aspect of it. But then when you get into the campus, when you get into the corporate, the expectations from the organization is completely different, right? So the very first expectation that we set for the candidate or we set for the employee is to get into the culture of the organization, to get to know more about the organization. And how do you do that? You do that by looking through the company website, go through the company value system, go through the company's behaviors. If you look at any organization in the world, every organization has a company homepage. And the homepage, if you see, they have their values, they have their behaviors, they have their expectations from the employees. They talk about their business, they talk about their revenue, they talk about so many things that one has to equip themselves before they hit the corporate journey, right? So that is something which is key, because if you see, everyone at home, also every family has a value system, every individual has a value system, right? So similarly, every organization has a value system that you need to imbibe yourself with. Secondly, create an elevator pitch for yourself. And what this elevator pitch is all about is your 30 seconds to 90 seconds introduction. So you can, if you're not prepared, you will be like going all over the place when you're introducing yourself. So you start with something, you say something else, you to start with your college, you start with your accomplishments, then you start with your where you belong to, and you don't come across as a very prepared person. So my recommendation to everyone who's going to hit the corporate ladder very soon is to prepare an elevator pitch that talks about who you are as a person, that talks about what is your qualification, at the same time what can you offer to the company. Because what everyone is looking at is, and then what you can offer as a differentiating factor is, what can you offer to the organization, right? So what are your skills that you can offer? And then we get confused most of the times, like when we talk about skills, there's a lot of things, right? When we talk about skills, it's a technical skills, it's a soft skill, then it's about attitude, it's about so many things. So what is that skill which is required, right? Support your technical skills along with your soft skills, like how ambitious you are to take up that role, how passionate you are, and then are you a person who is very much looking forward to contribute something to the success of that organization, something that you really liked when you read the company web page. If you see, a lot of organizations are into corporate social responsibilities, which is nothing but helping the society, helping in the education of the children who are below the poverty line, a lot of things, so which might have a very close connect to the aim and thought process that you have. So try to think over it and then add one or two things as your personal vision, as your personal mission, so that when you talk about yourself in that 30 to 90 seconds, you're going to come around as a very well rounded person who is fully prepared to hit the corporate ladder. That is the first and foremost thing. Because what happens normally, right, all of us struggle to introduce yourself, right? When somebody says, okay, why don't you introduce yourself, people say like, no, it's not my turn, it's his turn or it's her turn, and we want to always take the last option to go ahead and introduce yourself. But then from today, let us make an effort to make sure that we have a prepared 30 to 60 seconds elevator pitch to introduce ourselves, which is going to set us apart from the rest of the world, right? So moving into the topic, the presentation. So what are the key drivers for this transformation when you transition from college to corporate? What are the key drivers? Number one, of course, it's technical skills, which everyone is equipped with. So you will have learned the technical skills for the 4 years of your engineering life, or for your whatever graduation you're doing right now. And then if you see the graph also, if you see the triangle, right, what does the pyramid says? It says some portion of your technical skills is very much required, and then the rest of the portion is all soft skills. So if I have to really divide this equally, this would be, or if I have to divide this and, talk what it is about. So 30% is your technical skills and 70% comprises of your soft skills, right? So most of the organization in today's generation or today's era, hire people for their attitude, hire people for the character and train the skill. So character cannot be trained. Character comes with a value system, by the way we were brought up, by the society we live in, and then by the community we live in, or a lot of other aspects on how we are really groomed up as an individual. So this is very hard for organizations to teach. However, training the skills is very important. So all of us, I think all of us has to make an effort to see, like, how is our attitude, is it as per the expectation of the organization, or how do I actually behave as a person, is what is required when you try to apply for a job, or after applying for a job, when you get into the organization and start working from day one. So your onboarding, like we say in the organizations, right, we take pride in saying that the onboarding doesn't happen on the day when you join the company, right? The onboarding happens well before, like the day when you attend the interview with that organization, the day when you get to know that you are being shortlisted to join the company, that's when your onboarding starts. So every organization is investing a lot of money and time in making sure that you are groomed, making sure that you are actually trained with all the skill sets and trained with all the knowledge that is required for you to perform the job. The only ask that the organization has from every individual is to come with the right attitude, bring the right attitude to the table, so that you can be more productive in the organization. And this would be a win-win. I hope everyone understand what win-win is. So it's going to be beneficial for you as well as beneficial for the organization to make sure you are successful, right? So that is about it. Now, what are these soft skills required for the transition, right? So what I'm going to really do is I'm going to talk about the majority of the soft skills, or the skills that is required for us to be successful when you enter into the corporate journey. But there are so many things that we could learn, but the very specific few key things which has helped people and which will help people to be successful in their corporate life is what we are going to cover right now, right? So the first one is behavior, right? So the behavior is very key. How you behave, your mannerism is key. Because if you see in the interview, like you spend 30 minutes with an interviewer in the organization, I'm sure some of you must have already attended the campus interviews in your company, and then a lot of you must have been placed in great organizations with a great pay packages and things like that. So what does the interviewer first try to gauge in that 30 seconds to 1 minute, right? The first and foremost thing he or she tries to gauge in you is, how do you come across as a person? How do you, introduce yourself? And then how are your value systems? Certain question they're going to ask you is situational based, right? How would you deal this situation with? And my recommendation to all of you is, like, do not lie anything, or do not try to cover up something in the interview, right? So try to say the fact. And most of the times what happens is, when people are asked certain questions about your hobbies, right? So what we say is, we try to cook up something spontaneously, right? We just try to say, like, I love reading books. And what if the interviewer probes you further and say, like, okay, so what kind of books do you read? What is the last book that you read, and when did you read it? And could you please explain me what you read? What were your learnings out of that? So they're not trying to interrogate you, but then they're trying to understand or make you speak more, right? Make you speak and make you comfortable. So during the course of time, what really happens is, we tend to lose the tantrum over there, right? We tend to lose the momentum over there when we are not actually engaging with the person and trying to cover up something, when that really doesn't set a right example, because of which you may also lose the job opportunity. So here, the point that one has to remember is to be prepared. If reading is not your hobby, don't even talk about that, right? And then another question that normally comes, and where people fail to give the not the right answer, right? But people fail to be more integral in terms of sharing the truth, is like, why there is a gap between your education, right? Why there is a gap between you trying for applying for job and then your college completion date. So people say a lot of information which might not be right, or which might not sound correct for the evaluator or the interviewer, right? We say, like, oh no, I had some family challenge. That could be the real reason also, but then it depends on the way you communicate it, the way you put across to the person who is listening to you. Because remember, the interviewers are trained to interview you, right? They are trained, they are well equipped to understand the way you're talking and understand your body language, because body language is key. Because words may lie, but body language may not lie, right? So we have to be very careful and be very prepared in answering these questions, because that is where we may lose marks. You may think that, I'm a very highly skilled person, I have scored such a good grade in the engineering or in your degree, but then you may not be the person of preference when people are really interviewing you, right? Because of this reason. So if a behavior is not right, I think it is going to be challenging for us to hit that breakthrough that we are expecting, right? And the next thing, this quote, I really wanted to put it here so that everyone goes through this, right? So your belief do not make you a better person, but your behavior does. I may think that, I am the most qualified person in the room, I may think that I'm the best communicator in the room, but it's not about that, right? Communication is not only about speaking good English or good Hindi or good whatever language it is, but it's all about how do you behave, how do you conduct yourself, and what your mannerism is all about. And then you will be receiving a lot of welcome from people who are interviewing you, and then the organization as well. So moving on to the next, right? So I just wanted to put this 4 A's of dressing. Dressing is very important for any profession, right? It's not about dressing is not about makeup. I just wanted to bring this information to all of you, right? It's not about makeup, it's not about overdressing. So dressing is all about how do you dress for success. So there are 4 A's of dressing that I would like to cover today. Number one, appropriate. Dress appropriate for the occasion. Like for a job interview, I would definitely not wear a very grand sari and go for a job interview, right? For job interview, like I would also not suggest the interviewees to get up dressed in a very very grand way, and then you just go in a like a highly professional as well. So just make sure that you are dressing up appropriate. Make sure that your color coding is good when you go for an interview. Not only an interview, even when you go to your office setup, just make sure that you follow the dress code of the organization. The first and foremost thing one has to really ask is reach out to the HR or reach out to your manager and ask them, is there a dress code that this organization expects us to follow? So that shows that you are being very proactive in terms of asking it. So in most of the organization, you see Fridays are a casual outfit day where people are allowed to wear jeans, people are allowed to wear the normal collar t-shirts and all that, right? So just if the organization is okay, follow that. But then along with the company's culture, there are certain expectations that one has, because see, your energy presents you to the room before even you present yourself, right? Before even you talk, people actually form an opinion, people form a perception about us, and at times we have to take responsibility for people's perception, is it not? So it's a very tricky thing, right? At times you may think like, okay, see, it's my wish, I would just dress up however I want. I mean, I don't care what people perceive about me, but then it doesn't work that way in the corporate, right? You have to also give importance to people's perception about us, and dressing actually carries a lot of weightage on how people perceive us. So be very formally dressed up, like tucked in, and then the shoes and should be proper, and then it should also be authentic. When I say authentic, what does it mean? Is it should reflect the real you, right? If you do not like certain kind of dressing, do not try to imitate by from somebody else. Don't try to be someone else in those garments, because you're going to feel very uncomfortable in that, and people are going to make it out. See, the best and the tricky part here is people are so good in understanding whether we are confident, whether we are not confident, whether we feel good, we are intimidated, whatever it is. So just be your authentic self when you're wearing something. When you whichever dress you feel comfortable, just wear that. The garment, the fabric, and everything, you need to pay very close attention to, and make sure that you are dressing up that way, right? The next thing is affordable. So when we talk about dress for success, most of us think that dressing is all about having a very costly wardrobe, or having a very you have to every day you have to wear a different clothing to the office, and you have to have different pairs of shoes. And most of us have this syndrome, like once you hit the corporate journey, you think that, oh my god, I need to really do a lot of shopping, I need to have my wardrobe set and a lot of things and all that. No, that is not what it is, right? Make sure it is affordable. Make sure it fits your budget. At the same time, make sure you're doing a proper wardrobe cleansing every 6 months. So you need just have some pairs set for yourself, and then every 6 months or 8 months or 1 year, do a proper wardrobe cleansing that would help you to organize your clothing very well, and it would also not be that expensive for you to maintain your clothing, because at the end of the day, your first impression is the lasting impression that you want to make at anybody in the organization, right? And the next and the last thing is attractive. So whatever you wear, make sure you make yourself attractive, because at the end of the day, all of us wants to look good, right? Is there anybody on the call or in the room who says, no, no, it's okay, I don't want to look good at all? No, nobody in this world would say that they don't want to look good, right? Everyone, like from inner side or even from the outer appearance, all of us want to look good, not to impress anybody, but then to feel confident, because your dressing actually gives confidence, like 100% confidence. You think about it, right? The day when you are not dressed up so well, you don't feel your full self. The day when you're dressed up really good, like especially on your birthdays and all, right? That, right, in the school time and all that, we used to dress up so well, go to the school and then do the celebrate with our friends and all that. We used to feel so enthusiastic and energized. So just pay attention to dressing. Don't think that, who's going to look at me. It's fine. There's nobody who's going to look at me, or we think that, it's my wish, whatever I want to wear. But then think that once you hit the corporate journey, people really care for, how we look, and then how we actually carry yourself. Instead of how we look, I would say how we carry yourself. That creates a good impression. And along with this, always feel fresh, and then make sure that, you smell good. Make sure you have a good perfume or a good, deodorant that you use, so that people are going to, people stand in a very good proximity to talk to us and to share the presentation and everything with us. So we should not give any unpleasant experience to anybody, right? So we need to make sure that the socks is very clean, shoes are polished well, so that people really, love to talk to you. So that is about the dressing in the soft skill that I really wanted to talk about. Then the next thing is the communication. Communication in itself is such a broad concept, or such a broad topic, that we can talk about it and do sessions on it, like for the whole day also, and for a number of days also. But then in the nutshell, what I really want to say is, you cannot not communicate. This has a bigger meaning, right? You cannot not communicate. What it means is, even if you're quiet, you're saying something. Even if you're looking at someone, you're saying something. You're observing, you're saying something. You're nodding your head, you're saying something. So there is different ways of communication, right? Verbal communication, non-verbal communication, written communication. Non-verbal communication actually is very strong, right? So people perceive certain things by the way you are receiving them. You may not say anything by verbally, by words, but then the way you receive them, the way you reciprocate to what a person is communicating actually matters a lot. So one has to pay attention on the body language as well, because there is a big study on the body language. What if the kind of handshake you do also matters, right? So it's always encouraged to offer a very firm handshake. Like, do not do a cold handshake like this. Offer a firm handshake, right? That is what matters. That makes an impactful introduction, or gives an impactful impression on you when you actually do a firm handshake. Because what happens is, when we are only nervous, we try to give the half hand, right? And it doesn't come out that well when you're actually introducing yourself to someone else. And then when a person is really talking to you, it's always good to, it's a nice gesture to nod your head and reciprocate to him or her that whatever they're saying is you're able to understand or able to relate to what it is, right? And if you want to really talk about something, use of hands is very much required, very much useful. Instead of just folding your hands like this, if you fold your hands like this shows that you're either nervous or you're not comfortable. Or think about it, I'm doing the session now, you fold my hands and talk like this, you're not going to feel comfortable. You're going to feel that I'm not open to any questions, or either I'm not comfortable, or I'm feeling very cold, or whatever it is. It doesn't give a very pleasant experience to the other person who are listening to us, right? So we have to pay attention on our body language. We have to pay attention on the words that we use and the way we communicate. And before we close this topic on communication, I'd like to remind all of us one more time, saying that you cannot not communicate, even when you're not communicating anything. At times, we may carry some frustration from somewhere, from home or from work or from different people, but then that also gets transition to somebody else. That also gets transferred to the other person also. So what happens is people tend to ask us like, what happened to you? You look very dull today, right? So let us maintain a very good demeanor, and also let's not bleed at places where where it is not where it is not where the hurt is not coming from, right? So let's make sure that we are extremely professional in terms of communicating, be it verbal or written, or in terms of the body language as well, so that you are making a remarkable impression everywhere and anywhere. The next thing that is very important is teamwork, right? During the college time, you do not get a lot of opportunity to really express or exhibit your team working skills, because your exams are your individual ratings, and then you do a project work during the end of your semester. But then that also you do not get enough exposure or enough time and effort to really collaborate with the team and make it like a teamwork, right? But in the organization, so there is no my a person who says like myself, it's for me, there is no I, right? So the first thing is like no I at all, and no me. It's all about we. It's all about what do I contribute to the organization. It's about how do I make my team successful. That doesn't mean that you don't focus on yourself. You have to, one has to focus on themselves as well. Along with that, how do you make sure that your team is successful, because you need to play a part to make your team successful, right? So together everyone achieves more. I hope everyone agrees with me whoever is on the call, right? Because together only we can achieve more. If you want to walk alone, you're going to only make a few more miles again, and you're going to stop. But if you're going to walk together, you're there, you have people to motivate you, you have people to encourage you, people to support you and help you and take you to the breakthrough journey that you're really looking forward to. And that is why working as a team is always good, and working as an individual person might not help us. It might help us in a short run, but then not in a long run. Yes. And a very important thing, and the most essential thing is time management. And everyone, right? Everyone fall prey to this, right? It's not only the college graduates, but then right from the day you plan to enter into a corporate life, please make sure that you are having a time management checklist for yourself. Because what happens is the transition here becomes difficult. If you had a habit of procrastinating, because you'll have semesters, and even if you don't get a good mark in the previous semester, or if you do not clear your previous semesters and all that, you still have an opportunity to clear it at the end. And then your project work, if you're not able to do it on day one, then you have your grace period, then you have a lot of other time frames, that revised timelines and everything, that the college really wants to be nice to all of us, right? They want to make sure that everyone completes their assignments, everyone completes their project book. So they're really trying to be nice to us. But then corporate is not going to be that way. Everyone is assigned to a work assignment. If you do not complete your task, other dependable activities by another person is going to be on hold, or that's not going to get completed also. So your work is highly critical for the success of another person, and that another person's work is highly critical for the success of the whole team. And then the team success is very critical for the whole department, and then the department success is very critical for the organization success. So you can understand that you play a very vital role in the success of the company. So you might think, I'm just a person, a trainee who joined the company, so what's going to happen? I can just call my manager and say that, hey, I'm not coming in today, I just want to take a leave, right? Unless, I mean, it's a very, very necessary thing. You just call in and say, like, I'm not feeling well, I want to go out with my friends or something, like you say, and you go, right? So that is where your impact actually counts. So what do we suggest here is, when you are entering into the corporate journey, make sure that you are doing a to-do list. So don't do multitasking. Like, you cannot write all the, like, how you studied for all the semesters together, and then you were trying to make sure that you're doing all the project work together, and waking up early in the morning or sleeping late night. Those things are not going to help you here. So you're going to be a real mindful person who actually takes care of the responsibility of your own time, of your 8 to 9 hours of work time, that again organization specific. Make sure that you are making a to-do list, and you are not multitasking on everything together, because multitasking actually pulls your productivity down and you become very tired also. Focus on only what matters. So when you enter the corporate, right, it depends on which organization you go to, and you find so many things happening in a company. There'll be a lot of good things, of course, happening over there. There'll be a lot of not so good things also, like, you may see bias, you may see politics, you may see so many things. But then you need to actually focus on what matters to you. You need to actually focus on whether you are adding value to that discussion or the talk or not. People may be there, there'll be a group of people who might be just wasting time. They may be time wasters. They are not, they might be very disengaged. So it depends on you as to which conversation you need to be part of and which conversation you need to avoid. So that is something that you will learn over a period, but then be very mindful about what you say, be very mindful about how you react, be very mindful about the conversation that you participate in, because people are just going to listen to what you say, and it is just going to get through grapevine to other people and other people and other people, and then finally somebody is going to call and ask you like, hey, did you say this? Going forward, please make sure that you are well behaved, or things like that. So don't get into those corporate politics, right? Then remove distractions. Is Do you see any distraction during your work hours? Because what happens is, your friends and other people, family and everybody, when you were a college graduate, you had a lot of time and energy and everything to chill out. You had time to speak over phones like for hours together during this time frame, right? But then once you hit the corporate journey, the first and foremost thing what you need to also do is you need to actually make the other people aware, like your friends, your first circle of people, like your family members or your close friends or whoever, right? Just tell them that these are your working hours, and you'll be available to speak to them only after the working hours. If there's anything urgent, they can always drop you a message. So when you are doing this, you're setting an expectations to people so that they don't call you or they don't message you. Because normally what happens, right? You may not know. You may just try to take your phone off and you just see the messages or something like that. And immediately you see your boss coming over, and he or she is going to assume that, this is what you do in their absence. This is what you do. Like, you're always, hanging on to your phone. And that impression actually creates, and it builds up and builds up and builds up. And in case if you're not picking up anything well during your training, or in case if you're not doing well in your work assignments, it becomes a reason for people to really prompt and talk about. So you need not, please do not give an opportunity on those areas as well. These are very, very small distractions, that could go unnoticeable. At the same time, when it is noticed, it may become very serious as well. So make sure that you are setting right expectations to your family, to your friends, so that it doesn't become a trouble for you. Then break tasks into steps. So when your work assignments are given to you, or even during your training period, right, make sure that you're breaking the task into different steps, and that makes your learning very easy, and that also makes you successful as a person or as an individual when you are in the training process, right? Make sure you document everything. It's okay to keep a record on electronic gadgets like on your computer, on your laptop and all that, but also try to use those conventional methodology where we used to make notes. Handwritten notes actually makes you also remember the concepts very well. So always make sure that you're carrying a notebook and a pen. It also shows a lot of seriousness that you show towards the learning process and towards the person who is actually training you, right? Set reminders, because we are all of us are human beings, and we tend to forget, right? And forgetfulness is not a sin, right? So all of us tend to forget things. If there is an important thing coming up, please, you make use of your calendars on your phone, or on your computer, on the Outlook, or on Lotus Notes, whichever you're using. Make sure that you're setting reminders for yourself, and so that what is coming up next. And always for meetings, right? For meetings, make sure that you show up at least 5 minutes before or 10 minutes before. Be there. If it's an in-person meeting, please show up 5 minutes before. If it's a remote session, or a Zoom session or a Teams meeting, make sure that you're there at least 3 to 4 minutes before. That not only reflects that you're valuing other person's time, but you're also valuing your own time, right? So that actually makes you look so good in front of people who are there on the call. So these are very small things which counts as a good discipline, and this will take you a long way, right? So, and the other thing is, schedule effective meetings. If you want to talk to somebody like your peer group who's joined the company with you, or if there's somebody else from whom you want to learn something, instead of just going and standing at the desk and keep on asking about them or keep on reminding about them, just casually, in a very informal way, you can ask them, hey, you know what, I just want to learn this from you. I saw that you're really good at it. Can I set up 30 minutes time with you to go through this? Will that be fine? Could you please let me your preference? It's always good to have that, so that they also take you seriously. If you just ask and you leave it, you ask and leave it, they're also going to forget about it, right? So it is your need. So you need to make sure that you get that information in the best way possible, and the best way possible is the most professional way, right? Clean the clutter. That is very important, right? In our personal life also, like clean your wardrobe. That's what I told you in the previous slides as well. Clean the clutter is nothing but make sure that your task list is reviewed properly. Everything is complete. Check mark, check mark, check mark, done. And then about your work assignments. Okay, this week this was what assigned to me, or this was the expectation that my leadership team has set with me, and here is what I do, right? And check mark, check mark, check mark. Everything is done. So when you are, the more clutter you clean, the efficient you're going to become. And it is not only about the work, right? Cleaning the clutter even in the mind. We keep thinking so much. We keep, we have so many thought process that is running in our mind. We have so many complaints, or maybe we may have so many complaints on people. We may not be happy with people, disappointments, and everything actually, doesn't keep us a fully active and energetic person. So if there's any thought that is bothering you, if you have to really call up somebody and then reconcile on something, please do that, because when you do that, you're going to be the most happiest person in the world, right? Reconcile. If you have to confess, confess. If you have to apologize, apologize. If you want to really forgive, I mean, you have to forgive and live in the present, because forgiveness makes us very happy, right? You don't carry that burden of somebody's behavior on us, right? That is all about cleaning the clutter, not only at work but then even on your personal side of it. Ambition, right? All of us are very ambitious. All of us are ambitious. In next 5 years I want to become this, in next 2 years I want to go there. So all of us are very ambitious, and thinking about the new generation, like you people, like you are the leaders of the nation and the world, right? You have big ambitions. But then when you hit an organization, our recommendation is to make sure that be ambitious, it's fine, but then don't be over ambitious. Don't set unrealistic targets for yourself which you're not able to accomplish, and then you become very worried and you become scared, and then you become disengaged ultimately, right? Make sure that you enjoy your work. Make sure you have that, you transition into those phases in a very happy and enriching way. Make sure your learning becomes a transitional process. It should not be like, okay, I want to hit this, I want to hit this. We are not, at the end of the day, we are not robots, right? We are human beings with full of emotions. So let us, enjoy the work, and let us also enjoy the role that is given to you, and then move on from there. Act and learn from mistakes. And this is very important, and this is one of my favorite things also. So can anybody say that they are the perfect individual in this world, right? Nobody can be perfect in this world except for the creator, right? Nobody can be the most perfect person in this world. That is why a lot of organizations, and even the organization that I work for, actually said this as one of the behaviors: act and learn from mistake, right? So we allow you to make mistake. It's okay if you make mistake, but then make sure that you're taking corrective actions. Don't try to cover up, don't try to hide, right? This is where your integrity comes into play. So what is integrity? Integrity is nothing but doing things right even when nobody's watching us, right? It is honoring our own word, right? Integrity is honoring our own word. So make sure that you are, if you make a mistake, it's 100% possible that all of us would make mistakes after our training process. When you hit the production, when you do your coding, when you hit the production, definitely mistakes would happen. But instead of covering them up, try to take corrective actions for those, and then it's okay to admit those mistakes, because that is what will make you a person of maturity, right? Stress management. Yeah. So how do you manage stress nowadays? Even the young kids, like kids 3 years, 4 years old kids, also say that they are having stress. And this is a big concept, like I was saying before, right? One can really go through a stress management session for hours together. Stress management workshops are coming up for days, and detoxification and this and that. So many things are coming up in the world. So a couple of things that I would like to offer to you this afternoon is, make sure that nothing actually overbore you, right? Make sure that nothing gets you into a place where you feel, oh my god, I'm not able to handle this. How do I do this? Right? I was reading during the weekend, I was reading an article that really spoke about what kind of rests a person needs in life, right? Rest is not only about sleeping. All this while, even I thought resting is only about giving you some sleep. So sleep is one form of rest. Another form of rest is also like taking a small nap, which they call it a power nap. And then rest is also about disengaging yourself from the electronic gadgets like your cell phones and computers and everything, that also is another rest. And then another thing is, actually, taking yourself away from people actually that give you stress. You must by now you must already start getting those people in your mind and in your thoughts, right? Some people only talk about negativity. Some people only talk about what is not going on right in life. Some people only talk about, for example, this pandemic. There are so many people in the world who are waiting for the fourth wave, saying that fourth wave will come and then there'll be a lockdown and all of us are going to be at home. So we don't know what kind of pleasure do they get by that. But then there are people who always talk about negativity. So staying away from them, staying away from people who take all the optimism and positivity out of you, also will eliminate the stress from your life. So a couple of things that you could do is relax. It's okay. We all fail and then only succeed, right? Failure is a stepping stone for success. So it's okay if you fail. It's okay if you fall down. It's okay if you don't do well in one of the tests that is conducted at office. It's fine. But then pick it up from there and do well. So just make sure that you're having me time. Most of us today struggle because we don't spend enough time with our own self. We don't even know what kind of person we are, right? And we want everybody else to know us. We want everybody else to understand us. We say, like, "Oh, this person is not understanding me. My parents are not understanding me. My friends are not understanding. Now my boss is also not understanding me." When we ourselves do not have that relationship and the bonding with us, how can we expect another third person to really love us and take care of us when we don't have that self love? So anybody who doesn't have self love will be into stressful life. Yeah. So that is the equation, right? If you love yourself, there'll be like very limited stress or there'll be no stress. You'll be able to reconcile everything, you'll be able to tally everything, and you come back to your normal self. Because where there is stress there can't be love. Where there is stress there can't be relaxation. So if you are stressed about something, if you think something is weighing you down, the first and foremost thing is you need to first understand what it is and then break that off and make sure that you are getting back to your normal self where you're happy and optimistic, right? So that will happen when you enter the corporate life. You may feel the travel time, and you have to get up early, and a lot of things might cause a little bit of a imbalance. But then it's a transition, and you pick it up from there and keep moving. Right. So take responsibility. Responsibility is everything, right? Please do not blame someone. Like at office, what happens is normally we try to blame people. Like, we blame people saying that, no, it is not my mistake. He did it. It's not my mistake. She did it. She did not come on time. She did not remind me. That is why this did not happen, right? So life is not what happens to us, right? Life is what we make it happen. Yeah. So anybody can sit at home and say, like, nobody came and gave this to me, nobody came and gave that to me, nobody helped me. But at the same time, did you make any effort to take help? Did you make any effort to do this by yourself is what matters at the end of the day. Yeah. So we're going to quickly go into the technical skills that is required for the transition. We're quickly going to the technical skills that is required for the transition, right? So there are a couple of things that we want to, that I personally think that all of us need to know that. The first one is the 5S technique. So what is this 5S technique? Once you get into the corporate journey, people would already explain this to you in your company. But then even if they don't, I think this should be like a good highlight for you to really keep this in mind. So keep this at your back pocket. Whatever you're learning today, keep this at your back pocket. This will really help you when you are doing your work in a certain way, right? So this is 5S technique is nothing but a Japanese system for organizing certain things, right? First one is you need to sort. How would you need to sort something, sort, and then you set it in order and make sure that you clean the work area, set standard for consistency, and then maintain and review the standards. So if I have to take a house example, and you know what, these things are coming from home, like your mom does, right? So early in the morning she wakes up, right? And what she does is she makes sure that the entire kitchen is sorted, right? So a lot of utensils will be here and there, fallen off the course. She takes it up, she makes sure that it is sorted. Then what she will do, she will set that in order. After it is washed and everything, she makes sure to set that in order, so that tomorrow when she looks for that item or for that utensil, she finds it at the same place. Similarly, even in the work, I'm sure you can relate this with the example of library as well. So what your librarian does in your college, They sort everything in order. So they first sort it and then set in order. So that tomorrow when they need it, they'll have it there. They don't have to waste a lot of time. Similarly, when you're working with your codes, when you're working with your files, when you're working with the other things at office, your laptop or chargers and everything, make sure that you are, setting it in order. You're sorting it, setting it, and then you clean the workplace, clean the area. Of course, there'll be people from facilities who will clean it, but then your laptop, you need to clean it. Your accessories, you need to clean it and keep it ready so that you actually come out as a very professional person and set standards for the consistency. It should not be like one day you do it this way, next day you do it the other way, and third day you forget doing it. Set standards. Okay, this is how I want to do it. So this is my protocol that I want to do. And then maintain and review the standards. See how you're doing it, like 1 week. And like they say, right, anything you practice for 21 days, it becomes a habit in your life. Just see that how you're, evaluating yourself and maintaining records for yourself. And this actually really, really helps in managing your time. And this, I'm just telling you out of my own personal experience. The 5S technique works phenomenally well if you use it anywhere, at home, in the office, in the college, or wherever you work, right? Whichever work discipline you are in, it really helps. The next thing is the 5 Why technique. So this is the technique most of the organization uses to understand the root cause. If something has happened, why did it happen? You keep asking why like 5 times. Right? Keep asking why until you hit the actual reason. For example, a person failed in the 8th semester in one of the exams, right? So why did you fail? Because you didn't write the exam. Why didn't you write the exam? Because my friend actually forced me for a movie. Why did your friend force you for a movie? Because he or she was didn't have anything to do. The person was available. Yeah. And then why did that person do it? Because there's nobody to take care of that person or nobody to ask. So finally, what are you going to arrive? What is the root cause is going forward, don't go with that friend. Right? So next time when you have your exam, tell your friend not to call you, tell your friend not to disturb you, and you are actually trying to, keep yourself away from that friend who is a distraction during your exams. Similarly, even at your workplace, there will be a lot of issues that comes up, like in your either in your code, in the business process, in the way you handle a customer. What do you do is ask why the customer is not happy. Ask 5 whys. Was there a problem with the product? Sometimes it so happens the customer is not happy by the perfume we used. I've heard the story, right? The customer who came to visit our company, our company as in not our company, but then visit a company for for cracking a deal. They really did not like the perfume one of the sales representative was has used it gave a very pungent smell, and because of that smell they didn't feel good to talk to the whole the atmosphere actually changed, and they didn't like to talk to them. Can you understand the reason? And when then and how did they know this? With this why technology, right? Why technique. They asked like why this happened, why this happened. They first got into a brainstorming session. They asked each one of them. They found that it is not, they were not able to really come up to a reason. And then they reached out to the customer and asked what really happened, and this was the reason presented to them. So it could be anything. Unless you go ahead and ask and find out by asking so many whys, you will not get into the root cause of the problem. The next thing is 5 whys and 1 H technique. So when something happens, right, like a theft happens, what do? Okay, when did it happen? Where did it happen? How did it happen? Who, what, right? So 5 H and 5 why and 1 H technique also helps you to, to get into the details, the nitty-gritty of the issue. So mostly, if you see people in the criminal profession, they might be using this a lot, but then it is used in the professional, in our profession as well, in the corporate as well, where you need to ask these questions to get into the root cause, because this is what makes you think, and this is what makes us come to a very, very effective solutioning when we actually hit a roadblock, which is called as problem. The next thing is brainstorming. What is brainstorming? I think all of you must have heard about it. Brainstorming is nothing but like sitting together and discussing about an idea. Everyone bringing their own thought process. Everyone coming up with suggestions. Everyone coming up with ideas, and that is where you discuss and you come up with the most effective idea for a problem, or for whatever you're going to talk about it, for a topic or whatever it is. So instead of bringing your ideas individually, you come together as a group and do it. And in the organization, you will get an opportunity. You get a lot of opportunities to get into brainstorming session. If there's a problem, your boss will say, brainstorm and bring this. So you should not wonder at the time, like, what is this brainstorm, what is he talking about? He's talking about get together as a team and come up with a solution. Yes. And the next and the last thing is Kaizen, right? This is a Japanese technique used for continuous improvement. So can anybody say, like, I'm not okay with change, I'm not adaptive to change? Nobody can say that. The COVID-19 has taught all of us to be open to change no matter what. We were never used to this virtual learning and all that, right? But this has become like part and parcel of our life. So change is permanent, right? Nothing but change is permanent. We can never say that I'm not open to change. No, I'm not flexible. So that is what Kaizen is all about, right? Kaizen is about continuous improvement every day, everywhere, and everyone should bring the ideas and the thought to the table. So smaller number of improvements actually bring a big change. That is what we suggest everyone. So when you hit the corporate journey, right, from day one, when the things are taught to you, think about what can be done better, how can you do things better, and how can you make suggestions, make a note of it. Okay, this is what it is, and this is what I think can be done better in this way. That will really help all of us to keep our minds very active, and it will keep you more engaged in the team. And then it will also help you to be part of the success story of the organization, right? So it's from day one, when you're having diverse thoughts, when from day one when you're thinking about continuous improvement, that is where it is going to set you apart from the other people who are called as mediocres, right? Yes. And then the daily work management, we already covered about it a little bit. So have a checklist for yourself and understand that, your work is dependent on other people's work as well, and vice versa. So your result of work, your work product is very much required for the other person also to complete their job. So you need to make sure that, you have your work correct, you have done your work correctly. You need to make sure that it is done with proper quality. So proper due diligence is required when you're doing your work. It's not like, oh, they asked me to do it, let me just do this code in whatever way possible and just throw it on their face. Should not be that at all, right? So your diligence actually should be shown in the form of your work product. Your discipline should be shown in the form of your work product, and your 100% attention and focus should be shown in terms of your work product by not committing a lot of mistakes in whatever you do, right? Repetitive mistakes, I mean. Please don't catch hold of me saying, like, you already said that we are allowed to make mistakes, and now you're saying that you're not allowed to make mistakes. So make mistakes, but don't repeat the same mistakes, right? Learn from them. Yes. So another 10 minutes, I think we are going to open it for Q&A. What are the essential aspects to keep in mind before joining the world of work, right? Like we already said this, you are part of a team. So if you don't do your bit, right? If you don't do your bit, the world, right? You are part of the team, and if you don't do your bit, your team will get impacted, right? It will impact others as well. That is what we need to really understand when you are working in a team. So there is no silo. I'm not sure whether everyone understand the meaning of silo, right? Silo is like working independently somewhere, like sitting in a forest and working. So we are not sitting in a forest here, we are working as a team. So we need to understand that my contribution actually impacts the other person's contribution, and that eventually impacts the contribution of the team. And also remember that you are being observed and evaluated all time. Most of us tend to forget this every time, right? We think that, okay, nobody's watching me, so I can do anything. People are not watching me, I can just hang on with my phone, I can just be fidgeting something, I can be browsing something. But you know what, let me tell you, friends, every minute you are watched and you are monitored. So this is not the house of big boss, right? Not at all. But still, people observe you, people monitor you, people evaluate you every minute on your skills, on your knowledge and behavior. So we have to be very mindful about our conduct within the organization. So discovery is your job. In other words, you need to be an equal employee. Don't always wait ki somebody has to come and tell you ki what you need to do. Somebody has to come and tell you how you need to do things, and somebody has to come and tell you, like, boss, you know what, this is the thing, please take and go and do your work. So try to ask people, try to engage, try to interact with your manager or your team leader or the person, your mentor or coach, whoever you're being assigned with, and try to get the instructions from them instead of just waiting and assuming something. Please don't assume, right? Just go and ask if you need to really ask. So make best use of all the formal trainings. The organizations, like I said in the beginning, organizations are investing a lot on you, in not only money but also time. So most experienced people are put as your mentors, as your trainers, to to exhibit, to make sure that they are exhibiting a great training skill. At the same time, they are also imparting all the knowledge and skills that they had with them throughout their experience. So you're getting everything at your comfort, actually, at your comfort of your life, right? You're just there in the company, you're learning everything, and then you're also, we are, see, the best part is all of us are also paid to learn certain things. How beautiful is that? So we have to actually value that and make sure that every bit of learning is recorded in our mind, recorded on paper or whatever it is, and make sure that it is fully useful for you when you are doing your work, doing your role in the company, right? And then the other thing is, say yes first. So lot of you might think that, okay, so saying no is a difficult thing, that we know, but then why is she saying like say yes first? It's okay when a new responsibility is given to you, instead of just saying like no, I can't do it, or I don't know this, it's okay to say yes and then learn and do it. You can always say that, I can take this up, but then I need some time to learn and then pick it up, instead of saying like straight away no. Because what we are seeing nowadays is people whom we hire, from college and then from other places with very limited experience, right? People actually fear the fear of failure is too high. What if I fail? So like I said, it's okay, but then talk to them, get set an expectation that you will take 1 week or whatever time to learn this, but then the first response should be yes, the willingness, basically the willingness to do the activity, so that you come across as a very matured professional who is able to, who is committed and who's able to do the assigned job responsibility, right? Then select a mentor, right? At least in my time, like with my 18 years of work experience, for the first few years it was very difficult for me to have a mentor. Like I never knew that I need to have a mentor in my life. Then later we learned, but then you guys are really blessed because your college is really organizing this kind of events, this kind of seminars and workshop for you, where you can actually learn a lot from the corporate experts from their experiences, right? So selecting your mentor should be like a, you should do it in the very first month, and the person need not be from the same organization or from the same team. It could be someone whom you really admire, right, and respect for. When you see some people, you really like their aura, you really like, you want to be around them, right? And you want to learn a lot of things from them. Make sure that you talk to that person. You could find that person on LinkedIn also. So just see, you can connect with that person at least once a month, request them to offer 15 minutes time for you, so that their effort, their contribution will really help you to be successful in your life. And like that, what, I have so many mentors in my life to guide me, counsel me in my personal life, in my professional life, in my community service, in so many things. And this value addition actually is phenomenal and it's immeasurable, right? You cannot get it in any book or anything. So people are going to really translate their work experience into our lives, and you're going to get those experiences from them. So never ever miss a chance to choose a mentor for yourself. And then remember, your team is like, team is actually very keen to make things work for you as well. It's not that your team or manager is just wanting to get work from you, and they're wanting to penalize you. And don't look at bosses in the way how it is written in the books. No, bosses are not evil people. Like, bosses and managers are not bad people always. There are good people also. There are good people who will mentor you, who will coach you, who will guide you, and will make sure that you are successful, and who will upbring you like they upbring their own kids, right? So you are the clay into their hands. This is what I always tell people in my organization. Like, you are the clay in our hands, and then we want to make sure that we give you enough, and then we want to give you all the knowledge, all the skills, and all the trainings and everything, and make sure that you become a masterpiece, right? We want to make sure that all those things are given. And not only us, every organization today is making sure that they are putting the best foot forward in helping you to become who you actually envision yourself to be. But it's just that that effort has to come from you as well. Yeah. And avoid frequent job hopping. This is something which is, you know the talk of the town now, which is becoming very trendy. Everyone wants to search for jobs. Everyone is not, people are just getting very bored in 6 months, in 8 months, in 1 year. You go to a company, you say, nothing is going good here, man. Just because your friend is not liking his job, he tries to influence you, and then the job which is already going on good, you want to find some faults in it and you want to say like, okay, yeah, let me also try. So frequent job hopping actually doesn't really give a very quality experience for to any of you, right? We don't understand. Of course you may get some additional money, like few thousands, and for few thousands, let's not, leave a very enriching experience that you are going to have in the company. A lot of things, right? Only money is not everything. People have various motivations. Maybe we can cover that some other day. Various motivations. Some people are motivated by money, some people are motivated by work culture, some people are motivated by the way they are being treated, and so on and so forth, right? So money alone can never be a motivation factor for anybody, because the motivation that you get out of money is very short lived, right? You can't be happy with 5 lakhs today, and you can't say like even after 10 years you can't be happy with 5 lakhs. Yeah, that 5 lakhs can go into like 10 lakhs just in 10 days only. So we become, the more money we see, we become, more wanting or more greedy about money, right? So let's keep that money aside, and your initial year should be only focused on learning, because the initial 5 years that you're spending with one organization, that's going to really set the tone for your next the job that you want to take with the same company or the next company or wherever it is. But then don't be influenced. Even before the job hopping, I would suggest that you have a heart to heart conversation with that mentor, and speak to him or her, and tell them the real reason for your leaving the company, and then take a decision, and then speak to your manager as well, and then take the decision, instead of abruptly just going ahead and saying like, hey boss, I want to resign, and then you're just going in a very unpleasant way. And remember, the world is very small. Who knows, the next company where you're going, your boss would be a super boss also, right? So you don't want to create those unpleasant moments for yourself when you are really doing this job hops. So, yes, the final thing that we're going to really talk about is understanding the top 10. There are a lot of buzzwords that all of us need to know. So, please, your journey starts today. So, you're trying to understand a little bit more on the corporate life, right? So, try to learn a lot from internet, or try to learn a lot from other people. Have your mentors and speak to them, and try to understand a lot of things, the nitty-gritty of things that happens in corporate, that you can really learn, right? So, a couple of things that you would get to hear as soon as you hit the corporate road is being agile. So, what is being agile? You will hear a lot from people. No, you have to be agile. You need to make sure that you are doing this in a very agile way. Agile is nothing but your the skill set that is able to help you to respond and adapt to changes very quickly. That is being agile. So you're open to change, and you're able to do things in any methodology very quickly. You can't say, this is how I did yesterday, this is how I did last week, and I won't do in the same way. That is not being agile, right? So impact is, I can also say like, this boy is really changing him. You are changing his mindset. Instead of saying that, I would say you are making an impact on that person. So this is more powerful, this is more professional, right? So this is actually making an impact. So you are making an impact on this person. Your performance is making an impact on the entire organization's purpose. Robust action plan. We say, right, create a robust action plan and come on. What is it? Robust is nothing but you're being able to perform things well without breaking it down. Like, the top notch plan. Like, fail hona to impossibly nahi hai types. So that is like a robust. Yeah, and then gain traction. So how will you gain? What is the meaning of gain traction? Gain traction is nothing but when things are starting, you need to plan to move towards a desired goal. So which actually, for example, your activity or this program that you're doing will help you to gain traction when we are presenting this to the sales team. So this will help you to elevate, basically. That's what we're talking about. Deep dive is a very common word that you would use everywhere, or you'll get to hear everywhere from your leadership. They would say, you know what, I want to sit with you and do a deep dive on what you're working on. So deep dive is nothing but a very intensive analysis of how things worked in the past, so that we can come up with some improvement ideas, and so that we can make the process better, right? Leverage. So leverage is to use. I don't think we all use this leverage term in the college, right? Leverage is, I want to use, instead of saying I want to use your time, I would say like, I want to leverage your time. I want to leverage your capacity. So, which is a corporate term, but then you should not blink when somebody says. You should not like think, what does that mean? What is he trying to say? What is he trying to say? Leverage is nothing but making use of people's time or effort or whatever it is, right? on the same page. I hope everyone knows this. So being on the same page is nothing but having the same understanding. So you and I are aligned. Aligned is also the same thing. Have an alignment call with this person. What does that mean is making sure that your thoughts and his thoughts meet and both of you are marching towards a common goal is called being on the same page. Yeah. And the next thing is touch base. So I want to have a touch base meeting with you, which means like I want to have a quick chat with you and understand how things are going. Touch base. I want to quickly touch base with you means I want to quickly see how things are going on at your side and how can I, if I can help you in any area of your work aspect. That is about touch base. Then giving 110%. So normally this is used by most of the employees when the boss is like expecting something from them, right? You can also use this when they say like, you know what, Karthik, I really expect this out of you. Then you can say, yes, definitely, I'll give my 110% to make sure that this happens. So when somebody is saying they expect 110%, which means hook or crook, you need to get this done. Like there is no stepping back. See, we can't say in the corporate time, journey, right? We can never say like, the work was assigned to me. Okay, fine, I was not able to complete this. I'll come back tomorrow and do. So even if you're not feeling well or whatever, you want to come back tomorrow and do, the expectation is you need to revisit your expectation with the person who assigned you the work. The person might be expecting and thinking that you're going to send it by 7 o'clock, send the report or the code by 7 o'clock, but then there is no response from you, which means that you're still working on it, or how does that person perceive you? You need to make sure that you revisit the expectation so that you stand good in front of that person. See, gaining trust is not, that is what, right? You can gain trust very easily if you follow these aspects. Because otherwise, people say, gaining trust is very, very what? Easy or difficult? Gaining trust is not so easy. You have to actually prove yourself to gain the trust. But if you follow these small, tricks and tips, you'll be able to gain trust very quickly in the eyes of people. And then reinventing the wheel. Reinventing the wheel is nothing but do not duplicate things. So your boss would say that, Harish, do this and come. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. So we don't want to, create a new process for this. Whatever is the existing way, we'll try to do it in the existing way. Reinventing wheel is doing it again one more time, which could be a non-value added thought as well, right? A couple of other things like, the abbreviations is like KPI, which is nothing but key performance indicator. People will talk about KRA, which is very important. As soon as you join the organization, people will say like your key responsibility area or key result area. So your KRAs are given to you. You need to make sure that you perform as per your KRA, right? So that is something which is expected. And then people will assign you smart goals. So they'll not tell you like do this and come, right? Your goals should be smart. Smart is nothing but specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. You can't say next 5 years I want to become the Pradhan Mantri of the world, of the country. And then we can't be nodding ahead and sitting, right? If you want to become the prime minister of the country, what are the steps you want to take? Is that even a realistic goal? It might not be, right? I want to become the CEO of the company next 5 years. So is it even realistic? Is it even achievable? Is it even measurable? That is it even specific? So which country you want to become the? What is your qualification? Do you want to? So those kind of things should actually very much blink in our mind when we are actually writing the goals for ourselves. And the other thing is WIIFM, which is one of my favorite thing also. What is in it for me? So people may say like, somewhere it must be written in your KRAs or in the jargons that they use in office. So what is in it for me? When a change is driven in a company, when a new thing is introduced, the first thing that we all think about is what is in it for me. By making this change, what is going to happen to me? What is going to happen to my role? Or how am I going to get benefited is a what is in it for me. SME is all of you must be knowing, is a subject matter expert in your area. So your boss may say like, I'm going to assign an SME to look into this issue. So please cooperate with him. So you should not say like, who's this SME? What is this SME, right? So you should already know who the SME is. And then the expectation they might set and say like, I want you to complete this by COB or EOD. So you'll be like wondering, what is this COB, man? Okay, COB is nothing but close of business. EOD is nothing but end of the day. And then some people may say like, they'll send a mail. I'm going to be tomorrow. Now, what is this tomorrow is? I'm going to be out of office tomorrow. So you should know that as well. And then the other thing is like, point of contact. So this person is, Manoj is the point of contact for this activity. Manoj is the POC So, you should not wonder, oh my God, what is this POC? Go ahead and search. And then you should not get into that. You should not bring that nervousness on your face, right? You should be extremely confident and professional when you know these jargons, right? And when you know these abbreviations. So POC is nothing but point of contact. And then PTO, some people also call the leaves as PTO, which is nothing but paid time off. And the other thing is, like, for your information, that everybody knows, FYI, most of the people will use this term, like, for your information, FYI, this is what I want to tell you. So you just need to be very comfortable with these words and with these jargons to make sure that, you sound as a matured professional, you sound as a confident professional, and you sound as a successful person. So with this, I'm ending my presentation, and looking forward to questions from the group.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am, for the beautiful presentation.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's my
Only
pleasure,
one question from
Vaishnavi.
our end. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Only one question, ma'am, from our end. That if someone goes for an interview and he is not able to answer the question, right? Then what is the best way to represent himself or herself in of an expert?
Okay, so if I understand the question correctly, if someone goes for an interview and they're not able to answer the question, so what is the best way to answer? You're asking?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so actually that's a very good question, and it depends, right? What kind of question is that? So if there are two things. They're going to ask a behavior-based question, and they're going to ask a technical question. So if that is a technical question, if you don't know the answer, it is very okay to admit, because not everyone knows everything. So it's more than okay to say that, I don't know the answer right now, but then I can always refer back and make sure that I get myself equipped with this knowledge and this information that's going to be useful in the future. That is the modest and the best way to answer. But then if it's a very behavior based question, like people say, okay, have you handled this kind of situation? So there as well, instead of, if you are not able to handle a situation in professional way, people can always relate to personal life, right? So one of the example that I can give is, people ask, like, what is that, people want to know, like, whether you are a team oriented person, or whether you're a team player, or you're someone who will not be willing to work with teams. So they're not going to ask you direct questions on whether you're a team player. So they would ask, like, what is the uh, what is that one quality which your friends really like about you, right? And they may also ask you, like, what is that one quality which your friends really, or friends your very close people really hate about you. So when they ask these kind of questions, so you really can't say that there is nothing that people hate in me. It's impossible. No, there's something that people may not really dislike in us. So it's always good to, show that little bit of that vulnerable side also, and say, like, say something like, people don't like, my quiet nature, or people don't like something better to say than just trying to cover up our weaknesses, because that is how we don't come across very well when we are trying to really attend the interview with the interviewer, right? So it's okay. On a personal question, it is always okay to be vulnerable and share the real thing. At the same time, when it comes to a technical question, you can always say directly, you can say, like, you're not aware of it, and you are more than happy and willing to learn it, and come back to the person. And I've seen candidates, in my personal experience, I've seen candidates who go back, learn that concept, and they also send a mail to me, like, this is the question you asked in the interview, sorry I was not able to answer this, but this is what I have learned. More than happy to hear your feedback. So people go one level ahead to impress the interviewer. And it is not just to impress the interview, but then to make sure that they are willing and committed to learn and join our company. And I remember, like, we've selected those kind of candidates as well. It all depends on your commitment and the passion that you bring in. And then one thing on this question is also, right, don't try to hide your weaknesses by showcasing them as strengths. Like, don't say like, I'm a very hardworking person and I would end up working for 10 hours, 15 hours in your company. Because that would also make us look like an inefficient person. That would make us look like a person who is just trying to impress people like upfront on their face. So we may have to pay a little bit of attention on the way we answer and the words that we use when we are really answering these questions. Does it answer your
Okay.
question?
Yes, ma'am. Perfectly. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining with us today. And I would like to thank the head of our department, Mr. Amal Patel, sir, for conducting such webinars. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here with you.
See you, ma'am. Bye.
See you. Bye. Thank you.